Good morning. Just a little Porter Robinson going there. Hey, hope you are having a great Friday. Just coming on live here, trying again. Had a few fits and starts yesterday on trying to do this. So hopefully this goes better today. But I appreciate you joining in, watching. Um, Always remember that I am easy to get a hold of, so feel free to reach out and contact me. You know, about anything about this topic is great too. So today's topic, I am going to elaborate on this theory that I have been working on that I've come up with, and it's called the inflection point theory. A couple of years ago, I was going through some stuff in my life, and that's a whole nother story. I'm going to save that for a different topic because that one's going to be a book and a movie all in itself. But so I was going through this kind of this period where I was going through a change in my life, and I started on my leadership development and my coaching journey. And as I was doing this, started interviewing this group of leaders, of people who I saw as um, leaders in their industries, medicine and business and art and music. And I started doing these interviews to figure out how they had gotten to where they were and how they had made changes in their life and how change had represented itself. Because I was feeling a little bit stuck. As I went through this interview process about just finding more about these amazing people, um, one person specifically, Perry, I think it was one of the earlier interviews too. I came up with the idea of that. I see it as inflection points. That periods of change are kind of inflection points. And her response was that what she thought I liked about it was that we have a natural resistance to change. There's a fear of change. And if we can somehow, if we can use this kind of idea of an inflection point and use that as a way to make us more curious about change, then maybe we can bring more change more easily and more effectively into our lives. And so that was kind of the crux of my inflection point theory and how I'm using this inflection point theory to inform and to actually structure some of the coaching programs that I'm offering. So the technical term of inflection point, it's the point on of a line where it changes from concave to convex. So it is a place where your line can have an inflection point and it can go down, or it can have an inflection point and go up. It can go up exponentially. So that is what I'd like to think of is, so inflection point is a period in our life where we are able to, where we can make significant change. So as I was building out this idea, that really became apparent to me there's kind of three types of inflection points. The first one, the one is what I call disruptive. It is an inflection point. It is a moment of change where it's probably coming from an external force. It is disruptive. It is not something that you have much control of, if any control of. It could be being in an accident. It could be a health diagnosis. It could be the loss of a job. It could be so any of these things that are coming from you externally. It could be the end of a relationship where someone is ending that relationship. It could be a business relationship. It could be a personal relationship, but it is coming to an end, and you're going to have to acknowledge that and adapt to it. This type of change is not easy. It can be really hard, but the fact is that it's so disruptive. You will reconfigure and reset up how you want to be in life because this change has happened. I think like there's people who have these things happen, and they will sometimes say it was the best thing that ever happened to them. There are people who have had cancer diagnosis, and that battle with cancer, battle with the illness, has informed so many parts of their life that they sometimes say it was the best thing that happened to them. The one example I use in the post is I talk about Mary Clayton, and she was in. I learned of her through the movie 20 Feet from Stardom, and she was the backup singer on the Rolling Stones' "Give Me Shelter," which I have always loved that song. So it really brought that part home. But she was in a car accident. I think it was a car accident, and ended up losing both of her legs. And this is actually pretty recent. This accident was a couple of years ago, and she now has just had a new album that's come out, and she has refound her purpose as a singer after this accident. And this album is about the scars of life of this accident, and so I think it's really powerful. But that's kind of the disruptive change. Now, there's also another type of inflection point, which is the purposeful. This is the one that probably is the easiest because you're drawn to it. You see it as a purpose. It could have been when you picked your major in college, when you accepted your first job, when you got into, when you decided to get married or have a long-term relationship. There is something that is drawing you to it. So all those, you are able to make that change and reorient how your life is and how you want to be more easily because it's purposeful and you're drawn to it. And that is the ideal type of inflection points because it can really, a change in career. There's just so many things that are about it that pull you to it. So then the last group and the last of inflection points, and I think the one that I find the most personally challenging, and I see it a lot with my clients, is what I call the delayed and deferred. Sometimes I call it the denied, but it is where you're resistant. And as I use the word resistant, it makes me think of Eckhart Tolle. And there's a theme in meditation in life, right? What you resist persists. And Eckhart Tolle says, our resistance is what causes suffering. So these inflection points that are delayed, denied, deferred, are where we are resisting something. And that will then show up as suffering, as unpleasantness, discomfort in our lives until we act on it. And it can be something that we delay, deny, defer for weeks, months, years sometimes. Really can be a long period of time. And for that period of time that we are delaying and deferring, we are increasing our suffering as people, as functioning adults, as in our relationships, in our careers, with our teams. So those things that we are delaying and deferring impact so many parts of our life. So my goal as a coach and with myself is to move those things where I want to bring change in. It could be small changes, like I want to be a little more healthy. I want to be a little fitter. I want to improve relationships with my family. I want to be a better leader at work. So it could be simple, small type of changes, but making a decision that you want to do something. I want to be a better leader at work. That is an inflection point. And if we are then able to align that with what is purposeful and why that is meaningful, it makes that idea and that bringing that change in a concrete way more possible, more fun, and it's going to stick better. So that's my thing. The one point I will want to leave you with is the way to get through these inflection points and make it last more is by, we're humans, we're not really meant to do this alone, is by enlisting other people. make it a coach, have a mentor. 12-step programs are popular, and they work because you have that network of people supporting you. Join a team, join a club. Um, there's just so many ways that you can get connected and get support in bringing these kind of changes into your life. And you can hire a coach. So that's it for today. I appreciate watching. I appreciate you. I wanted to give a shout out to Keely and Amanda and Catherine and Janelle for supporting me and making sure I got this done today. So that was great. And then to all my leadership cohort that allowed me to do those interviews with them. They've been so gracious, and such a big part of this whole process for me. So thanks to all of you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Appreciate it. We're going to finish up with this.